Crochet along with me while we make a pumpkin hat for a human or dog. Now these are the stitches you're going to need to know for this pattern. I tried to make it as beginner friendly as possible, although there is no front post double crochet. That's super beginner friendly. At least there's no magic ring to contend with. What you're going to do to start is chain 4, and then you are going to make a double crochet into that very first chain stitch right there. Yarn over, insert your hook, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, and pull through 2 again. This first chain 4 does not count as a double crochet, unlike a lot of other patterns. And now we are going to continue making more double crochets so that there are 12 total double crochets in that very first same stitch. I'm also trying to hold down my tail as I go along so that I don't have to weave it in later. And there we go. First row is complete. Now row 2. Insert your hook into the top of that very first chain and slip stitch and chain 2. 1, 2 to get started. Now remember again that this little bit does not count as a double crochet. If it helped you, go ahead and put in a stitch marker so that you know when you get to the end of this round where to start your next round. Now the way this pattern works is you are going to front post double crochet into that very first stitch and pull through. I'll go into more detail in a minute here. And then you're going to increase in between every front post double crochet. So right here I'm going to do an increase. 1 and then another double crochet right into that exact same stitch, and that brings us to our third stitch of the previous round. See, there's 1, there's 2, there is 3, and here I'm going to front post double crochet, yarn over, and if it's easier for you, just kind of pry the stitches apart with your fingers so that you can see where to go. Normally you would go here into the top of that V, but instead with a front post double crochet you go underneath right there. Yarn over, pull through once, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, and pull through 2 again. That's a front post double crochet. Repeating the pattern now, we are going to increase into this very next stitch. So double crochet right in there and put a second double crochet into that same stitch. There you go. And so now we are going to, we did a front post, we did an increase, and now we're going to put another front post double crochet into that next stitch. You can again pry it apart with your fingers. You're going into those big holes right there. Kind of looks like eyes in a screaming ghost, or maybe that's just my imagination. And there we go, front post double crochet and increase. And we are going to we're going to repeat this pattern all the way through. I'll meet you on the other side. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 front post double crochets. Perfect. Now let's get going with row 3. You are going to go into the top of the first stitch of your previous round, right where you put your stitch marker, slip stitch, and chain 2. The chain 2 does not count as a double crochet in this pattern. You can replace your stitch marker if it helps you. And now, very similar to the previous row, we are going to put a front post double crochet and put our increases directly afterwards. Now, this is going to be easier than your previous round. It's going to be much easier to see where you're supposed to insert your hook for that front post double crochet because it sticks out a little bit more. You already completed the hardest part, I promise. Now, here is where you put your increase in the very next stitch. 1 double crochet, 2 double crochet, and then we're going to put a single double crochet in all the remaining stitches until you get to the next front post double crochet. In this case, it's just one. So you can see where I have highlighted the only part of this pattern that changes as you are doing your increases. So here we do a front post double crochet, an increase in the next stitch, and then one single double crochet right there. And then we are back to our next front post, which is right here. In real life, I promise it'll be easier to see where you insert your hook. And then repeat that pattern all the way until the end. And here we go. So now we still have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 front post double crochets, and the pattern is pretty easy to follow. Conceptually, I think you've got it, but we're going to continue to crochet along and insert your hook, slip stitch, chain 2. This row is nearly exactly the same. We are going to front post double crochet, put in an increase in the very next stitch, so 2 double crochets into the same stitch. And then in the purple, you'll see highlighted, the only thing that's different from the previous row is now we're going to put in a double crochet into the next 2 stitches, which gets us to our next front post double crochet right here. So I think you get the drift. And you may be wondering, what if I accidentally forgot to increase directly after the front post double crochet? Does it matter? And the answer is absolutely not. If you miss it, just put an increase somewhere in between the 2 front post double crochets. It'll be fine. No one will notice. And you may also notice that at least the way that I crochet, my flat circle, so-called flat circle, is not very flat. It's starting to get a little bit of a curve. That also will not matter. Just keep hooking. And here we are at the end. Insert your hook into the top of the front post double crochet of the previous round, slip stitch, chain 2. You can replace your stitch marker if you desire. And then we are going to front post double crochet. In the next chain, or in the next stitch, we are going to put in another increase. And if you're feeling confident, go ahead and remove that stitch marker. I think you've got it by now. So here is an increase, 2 double crochets into the same stitch. And then now we are going to put 1 double crochet into each stitch of the previous round until we get to our next front post double crochet. And there we go. So complete this all around. This round is front post double crochet increase, and then 3 double crochet all the way around until you get back to the beginning. Row 6, slip stitch and chain 2, make a front post double crochet, make a double crochet increase, 4 double crochets into the next 4 stitches, and then repeat that all the way around. At this point, you may be wondering, when do I stop increasing? And that is a very good question. What you are going to do is then measure by pi. So I just finished round 7, slip stitch, and I'm going to pause and grab my measuring tape. Now, your measuring tape does not have to look like a turtle, though mine does. I'm trying to make a hat that is 18.5 inches in circumference, which is the size around the head. So I'm going to take my circle, put it on my measuring tape, and then take a look. This one is about 5.5 inches across. Alexa, what's 5.5 times pi?
5.5 times pi is approximately 17.2788.
Okay, we're not quite at 8.5 inches yet, and so I'm going to do another round of increases. Slip stitch, chain 2, front post double crochet increase, and then 6 double crochets into the next 6 stitches, all the way around. We're back at the beginning again. grab your measuring tape. Again, yours does not need to look like a turtle, though mine does. Let's see where we are now. The diameter of this hat, and you notice even though mine is slightly curved, I did not flatten it. It's about 6 inches, which is perfect. I'm going to stop increasing and continue on. We will pick it up in the next video. Hope that helps.